Check the description for the following discount codes. This probably has to be one of the easiest reviews I've ever done on the channel. I'm sat here in the Level Racing ERS3 Hypercool seat. It literally cools you, has active cooling. There's a total of 6 fans in the seat. You'll see from this clip now where they're located. 3 in the base, 3 in the upright section, and they have 2 speeds that you can set, low and high. Now, for an actively cooled seat to be good, and this is why the review is so easy, it only really needs to do 2 things. It needs to be a comfortable seat, and this is a little bit subjective depending on your size and shape, and it needs to cool you. And I'm happy to say this seat is both very comfortable and very cool. Not only have they managed to make it quite, it's firm, but also well cushioned, just like the other seats I've had from Level Racing, ERS4 and ERS5. It's got their aero mesh material, which is quite a breathable material anyway, without taking into account the fact that there's 6 fans inside the seat. But yeah, on top of that, they've managed to fit 6 fans inside the seat and not lose any of the comfort. I could sit in this seat and race for ages, and it comes with a slider to go backwards and forwards, so you can get your seat in position right as well. I've had no problem sitting in this seat. It's perfectly comfortable. I like the aero mesh material, and I absolutely love the active cooling. I'm someone who gets very hot when racing. I mean, I've got 3 OLED panels in front of me here, 55 inches apiece. I've got a roof on the top of my booth here to eliminate, the background visuals and really get me immersed in the sim. All I can see when I'm racing is the world in which I am racing, the track that I'm on, or the rally stage that I'm on. I don't get to see the wall behind me or the window that's actually there. But that means this is quite a hot space. Also, motion system moving around. So having 6 fans within my seat, absolute game changer for me. And if you're someone that gets hot when racing, you're going to think the same. Now, it comes with the seat itself and then a little power supply. It's 12 volts, 2 amps, and various attachments depending which part of the world you're in. Obviously, I'm in the UK, so I have a UK plug. It's also fire resistant, the seat itself, should that be of a concern to you. But I really have no complaints about this seat at all. There's something I would change if it were me, and I'll tell you that in a second. But as it comes out of the box, it is a comfortable seat. It is a cool, breathable material anyway, and now they've added 6 fans to it. So it's got to be the easiest product to recommend if you're someone that gets hot when sim racing. Now, what I'll do is plug this power supply in, and then I'm kind of going to lean my microphone a bit, sort of put it here. Well, in fact, that is where I'm sat anyway. So let me just plug this in, and then I'll be able to turn it on the 2 different speeds, and listen to how much noise is generated by the fans. So there's no other noise in this room at the moment. Everything else is off that would make noise, so there's just me. I'll put the fans onto position 1, and I'll shut up. And now put the fans onto position 2, which is the higher speed. Might be able to hear that one. It's funny because, to put it bluntly, my bag is currently getting cooled, and it's quite a strange sensation to have air flowing up from underneath your sack. Guys, if you've ever experienced it, share that in the comments with me. But for me, this is the first time I think in my life I've had active sack cooling, and it works really well. My sack feels cool. So not only does my sack feel cool, if I put my hand, can you see it? Well, just forward of my genitalia area, you can feel the frontmost fan blowing up through the seat, and then of course my back as well, sort of the middle section here is where the fans are. And I can feel them getting quite cool. And what's interesting about this is it's summertime here in the UK, and we've actually had quite a decent summer. It's been 30 degrees for more days than I can count, in fact, and just wall-to-wall sunshine, pretty amazing for us. So this seat is just an absolute game changer. But yeah, on setting 2, which is what I use it on, the parts of me that are getting cooled, sat here talking to you because I'm not actually racing, generating my own heat, actually feel quite cold right now. So I have a chilly sack. There might even be a bit of shrinkage, who knows. And the middle of my back is quite cool as well. When I'm racing, it's not a problem because I'm generating so much heat from, you know, obviously actively on the force feedback wheel and being flung around a little bit with the motion system. So it's about perfect. I think come the winter time, let me flick this back. I don't know whether you'll hear it or not, but I'll flick it back to low. I think come the winter time, the low setting may even be enough to keep me cool in spite of, you know, my sort of warm surroundings here. So the seat absolutely gets a thumbs up from me, and there will be a link in the description. Discount for those of you in the parts of the world where my discount applies. It doesn't apply everywhere. Things I would change about the seat, and there aren't many. Oh, it has the double recliner that Next Level Racing have been fitting to their slightly higher end seats, which literally give you 2 recliner mechanisms, which helps to reduce flex in the upright section. Obviously there's no flex in the base anyway. So yeah, things I would change. I would like, and this is an easy one, instead of just having 2 positions, high and low, I'd like a variable speed knob, like a volume control. Because whilst having 2 options is nice, everyone's different, everyone's body temperature is different, we all generate different amounts of heat when we're racing, and you might want somewhere in between the 2 settings that we have here, you know, and potentially in the winter, setting number 1 might actually be a little bit too much even if you're in a cold climate and you don't keep your house super heated. So having a proper, it's just, you literally replace the switch. I'm assuming it's just a 2 separate voltage circuits, so just replace that with a full swing variable resistor potentiometer, and you'll be able to have, you know, literally any speed fan you want. I mean, it might even be the fans are pulse width modulated, in which case you can do it just as easily with a PWM circuit. So yeah, have one of those, and also raise the maximum, because this is the other thing, when you're limited to just 2 positions, high and low, you don't want your high to be too high, like gale force wind blowing up and around you, because that might be too much for some people. So they've had to choose a happy medium for both low and high. Give us the full ability of these fans, however fast they can go, however much air they can flow. If we've got a variable knob, maximum is literally flat out what the fans can do, because in the summertime, like me, if I'm doing some rally where I'm H-pattern shifting, and I'm on the handbrake and I'm throwing and the whole motion rig's slinging me about, I want to be hotter than if I'm just doing some GT3 and on the paddles, for example. So I might want more than what setting 2 gives me. So that's one modification. Give us the full spectrum, maybe do this in a version 2 seat, I don't know, or an ERS 4 or 5. Give us full swing of what the fans can do, literally from like 1 RPM up to whatever the fans will do. The other thing I would like is, I mentioned earlier, I can feel the fans down the centre of my back, because that's where they're located in the seat, like you saw in that little clip earlier, which I might show you again. It would be nice if there was a way to direct the air so it flows a little wider. Almost like a, well, like a, I was going to say a fan, but they are fans. You know what I mean? It's fanned out like this, because it feels very much centralised, which makes sense because that's where the 3 fans are. It would be nice. I don't know how easy it would be to implement maybe some additional ducting, or even like in a car air vent where you just have slats that point where the air goes. If you fit some of those in the seat so that they direct the air out at an angle from the centre point, that way it covers, like, you know, sort of your lat area here as well as just the mid back. That would be a nice touch. I don't know how easy it would be to implement whilst retaining comfort, of course, either. You know, at the moment, you can't tell these have got fans in them unless you actually push down on the seat in the centre here, like with my thumbs, then I can feel something under there. I'm guessing that's obviously part of the fans that I can feel down there. But you don't feel it when you're sat on it, because the seat has got cushioning, you know, your bum has cushioning, and because your legs don't sit like centrally, your legs sit slightly like that, the fans that are in front of you and in the centre don't really make any contact with you. And I don't feel anything in the upright section either, unless, again, I push into the seat and then I can feel there is something in there. But yeah, the way they've installed them does not detract from the comfort of the seat at all. In fact, feeling how much space there is between the fans and the front of the seat, my idea for vents to point the air is not going to work, because they're actually quite close to the surface, which kind of makes sense because you want maximum airflow. But the volume control is still something that could definitely be implemented. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Oh, I suppose I'll give you a quick measure up of the seat dimensions, because I've done reviews of the ERS4 and ERS5 with dimensions. So this is the first time I've had an ERS3 in. Makes sense to have a little measure up so you can compare. So let's do that, shall we? We'll go with the upright section first of all. So that is 31.5 inches or 80 centimetres. The width of the back at the narrowest point is 11 inches or 29 centimetres. Front to back of the base, 21 inches or 54 centimetres. And then the pinch point between the bolsters on the base, 39.5 centimetres or 15.5 inches. So there's your dimensions. That enables you to compare it to the ERS4 and 5. I'm relatively broad, no issues. The bolsters do kind of, my lats do rest on the bolsters, so I wouldn't want it to be any narrower, to give you a point of reference. It's not a problem. It's like if this was an actual racing seat in the car, weirdly the seat is FIA approved, that would hold me quite snug because they are against my lats, but I wouldn't want it any narrower. If you're a bigger guy, you might find it, you know, wider than me, you might find it a little snug. I can't remember, I can't remember which of the ERS4 and 5 were the widest ones, because the dimensions weren't, you'd think ERS4 medium, ERS5 bigger, but I think when I actually measured them, some parts were bigger on the 4 and other parts were bigger on the 5. So watch that video if you're interested. But yeah, I mean, I'm 6 foot, I'm 90 kilos, which is what, 200 pounds, give or take. So it gives you some idea how it would fit you if you use me as a reference. But you've got your dimensions anyway. So yeah, that's about it. I think it's just a seat. It's a seat that's comfortable, and it's a seat that cools you actively, and it works brilliantly. And the reason I'm sat here on my main rig testing this seat is because this is where this seat is staying. Unfortunately, my GT Amiga, I don't have the RS12, does not have fans in it, so I'm afraid that's been retired, and this seat is firmly staying on my rig to keep me cool as I sim race. So, link in the description, discount where it can be. As always, thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.